Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another gigantic drilling platform, and this one, if you have not seen it already, is called Platform Kodiak, which is this glorious thing currently looming over me. So this is an absolute massive drilling platform, which has a lot of stuff going on with it. It's got all the basics you need for survival mode, it's got a docking pad with an extendable connector, we even have a land connector right at the very bottom of the platform that'll move out thanks to hinges and pistons. And we even have wheels on this thing, so we can move it around like a land vehicle to get it to where it needs to go, and of course to mine up all the precious resources that you're after. We also have a very impressive interior that, well, you can very easily get lost inside. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But for now, while it's drilling away in the background, I'm going to press F10, find it in the spawn menu, and go from here. So this thing says it's 5,719 large blocks, but it does use one hell of a lot of DLC packs. It uses no mods, it has a bunch of programmable blocks on there, so you can utilize them if you want to do that, and it's relatively safe to use. I've only had one mishap when I was testing this thing out, having a little tour before I recorded, just when it, well, identified as a rocket ship and sent itself to space. But anyway, we'll give this thing a thumbs up. We're going to have a very brief look around the outside. I'm going to do what I did last time on the previous large vehicles, simply pan around the outside, give you a brief look at what's going on, then we'll just go into the meat of it, walk around on foot, and have a much clearer look at what's going on with this thing. So I suppose what we'll do is start over here, where the connector is currently ejecting out all the stuff that I'm collecting, and we'll just start with each of these pillars, and go to the central one. So putting on my light, this is what we can see. We can see our connector of how we can dock this up to a land vehicle if we need to, as well as a bunch of hinges get into the correct position to help dock it up. We've got a bunch of walkways, a bunch of atmospheric thrusters, and some exhaust blocks, some decoration. Moving around over onto the side, moving up slightly, we see a docking pad, which is our extendable docking pad for your ship to come dock up to. We've got a handy little button panel sitting right there, which is how we're going to pull it up and down when we need to. Now we can come across over here, we've got a walkway that links them all together. We've got some more of our flat atmospheric thrusters, some modules purely acting for some decoration. Then all the way up to the top here, another little walkway, but this time there's not too much going on with this one, so it's just a dead end. If we're to come down onto this side right here, we then see all of our gobbledygook of our refineries, steps that link everything together, that comes all the way down to the bottom. We've got a little bit of decoration, and once again, some more flat atmospheric thrusters. And I do apologise if you do see the video stuttering slightly, that is a Windows 11 issue thanks to the latest update, not too much I can do about that, but hopefully it's not too noticeable. Anyway, onto this side, once again our flat atmospheric thrusters, and then on our module we've got ourselves an interior turret for a bit of defence, moving all the way up to here. And there we are once again at the very top. We're going to come across over to our third pillar, so down we come. Once again, a module with an interior turret on top, some more of our thrusters, then all the way up to here on the top. Instead of having a dead end, instead of having a landing platform, what we've got is a walkway that'll take us to one of two places. So the first way we'll come across and go up a ladder that'll take you to the very tippy top of this mining platform. Then over there where you can see the stairs currently lead nowhere, that's how we're going to get onto the platform to activate the drill. That'll just take you across over to that section right there. We've got a very handy button to start and stop the drilling ahead. To the side there, there's an ore detector. So, like I said, when you move this vehicle around, you can use it to scout out ore patches if that's what you want to do. And all the way down there, we can see a control room to actually drive it around, spotlights to light up the darkness, and some more walkways for you to, well, walk around on. Over on this side, very similar set to the one we saw on the opposite side. Then over onto this one, you guess it, more modules, more turrets, more thrusters, and all the way up to here, a large hydrogen tank, round onto the side, moving all the way down, and there we are with some more thrusters, and some more ejectors, in case you want to use them. Over to this side, there we go, moving all the way up and looking down, again it's just that large hydrogen tank, with an exhaust block on some columns. And of course we've seen this one already, so we'll come across to the very middle, past our little walkway, linking everything together. This is our drilling section, where as you can see we've got a bunch of pistons connecting everything together. We even have some decoration on them in form of caps and warning signs. Then come down to this section, we've got neon tubes. Then all the way down to the very bottom, here is the platform which I talked about earlier, how those steps are going to connect up, and I get across that button. And then down to here is our drilling head, which have been slightly angled via some hinges. They're just spinning around in a very nice, very silky pattern, where as you can see we are creating an almost perfect circle. Anyway, coming all the way back up this to the actual main pillar in the middle. Once again, some more atmospheric thrusters help move this thing around. There's our ladder to get all the way up to the very top. We can see a lot of stuff on the interior, mainly for some decoration, and of course a bit of utility. There's a little spotlight twiddling around. Once again, some modules for some decoration. Then at the very top here, we've got a beacon, laser antenna, and a lovely interior pillar with a blinking light on top. So at the very top here, we're not going to be able to do too much other than take in the surrounding areas. Say if it's a lovely vista, or we've got the water mod enabled, you can use that just to view over the horizon. But as for that, that's pretty much it at the very top here. If we look all the way down, we've got some lovely green smoke coming out one side. We see how the light is just twiddling around there, and occasionally the odd flash of a shadow when the sunlight hits a tree. And moving all the way down underneath this thing. Here we go. That's all we can see. So to move this thing around, we're using basically the hovercraft setup with our wheels, where they sit on their side, they're assisted by thrusters, so that's how we're going to safely move this thing around. We do have magnetic plates clamp this thing down on, and they are connected up to pistons. This is where I went wrong when I was testing this out earlier, so I forgot to undo the magnetic plates when I retracted the pistons, and what happened was it created such force on the wheels, they just pinged itself up in the sky with some great heights, and while somewhere in the distance there, there'll be a wreckage. In fact, there it was, where it landed back down. Anyway, that all done and out of the way, what I'm going to do now is bring the sunlight back around, because it appears to be setting. That'll do quite nicely. Grabbing on my character, now it's time to get up and inside this thing. So as you can see, we've got a massive hole in the middle where we can fall all the way down to that platform. If I really wanted to, I could jump onto the platform, retract it all the way back up to get up and into the vehicle via those steps. But no, what we want to do is find the gap in one of these legs, which is that one right there. So we've got no gap, no gap, no gap, and then a gap to walk into. So pass over to here, and then see our wheels on their side. There's our pistons with magnetic plates that I talked about just a second ago. And here's a lovely ladder, get up and inside. So it's jetpacking all the way up. Here we go. We're instantly greeted by some lovely white LCD screens with some black writing on them. You don't really see that too often, but I do actually prefer this, instead of having the black screen with white writing. It seems a lot easier to read for me. But yes, we see our ingot summary, we see our ore summary, then we've got some control a few bits and bobs around this vehicle. In the middle here is a projector table that was projecting the entire structure, but I turned it off for performance reasons. But come across here, bring out the HUD. As we see on number 1, we then got our begin drilling sequence, we then got our emergency stop, and then we got our security turrets, which are the interior turrets to sit on the side of the vehicle. As for the rest of this room, we see a lot of time blocks, we see some containers to store a few bits and bobs inside, some freight crates for you to store some ammunition or maybe some power packs just in case you need it. Then a little walkway around here, which goes nowhere. We do get a good view of what's going on. Anyway, back through here, we now need to come past this section, up these steps, here we go, all the way around, where we see even more time blocks, a bunch of programmable blocks with nothing go on with them. Now we walk past this section, more programmable blocks, and another little walkway. They'll eventually come around to this section right here that you saw at the very front of the vehicle, which is how we're going to drive this thing around. We've got a cockpit here where we can control the magnetic plates, of course the pistons, we then got our cameras to view where we're going, there's our ejector camera, then for our final controls we got our beacon and our antenna. Yes, we won't do that just yet because we are currently drilling, and I want to see how far this thing actually goes. Just walk out of this, come around into here, into one of these program blocks, just select this one at random. We see we've got ourselves our integrity script. We'll come across over to this one, open this one up, and come down to edit. There it is. We see we've got our automatic LCD screens. Then we'll come across over to one of these ones. Suppose we'll go through all these right now. Then to this one, then you've got our planetary compass to help when maneuvering this thing around. Yes, what we've got to do now is go even further up on this one. So we've got to come back around to where we just were, up these steps once again, all the way around. And now onto this section right here. So this is what's going to link us to each of the individual pillars, but will not take us to the middle just yet. We need to go up one further floor. But I suppose what we will do right now is ignore this for the moment and just walk all the way past it. Just come over to this section. So we get a fantastic view of what's going on down there, fantastic view up and all the way around this thing. Now we come into this section and just walk all the way down. So down these steps, all the way around, down even further. We now hear our refinery just ticking away in the background, past this little time block. Now I've got another little way to walk around. So this is another little perch. We can just look down at the drilling head, make sure it's doing what it should be doing. And of course we can now come back, ignoring that loud clang, come over to this cargo container. So we can manually drop stuff in and out if we need to, but we don't have to do that just yet. And to save on a little bit of time, what we can do now is just jetpack all the way up to here. There we go. Can't go up any further because that is the hydrogen tank one. We now walk across over to this one. And hopefully I'm not just going around in a giant circle. I believe that was the one that came up. Yes, it was, because the gap is down there. Into this one. And now, first of all, come all the way down and around, past our O2 HU generators, and of course past our hydrogen engines. What we're going to be greeted with is a store block, so you can use this as a trading station if you wanted to. And over there, we've got another little button panel. But this one is very hard to make out. It seems to be our hydrogen engines, but it's exceptionally blurry. I'm just going to leave that and we'll presume it's doing what it should be doing. Anyway, like the previous one, we've got another little perch where we can see what's going on, and there is our connector that we saw at the very back. You're checking out everything. We've got ourselves our button, which is how we're going to connect this up to a land vehicle by pressing this. That's now going to extend all the way out. We've got 2 hinges onto a column, onto another hinge. That's now going to fold all the way down. There we go. Now a land vehicle can come connect up to that, extract everything out, or maybe even recharge your hydrogen tanks. Then once you're done, hit the button once again, but actually hit the button. There we go. Now pull all the way back up. And we round onto this side. We've got some more of our barrels. There's some warfare batteries. And there's our steps to take us further up. And we've got to come back around into here. Back to where we just were. And now we've got to go further up. So around to here, lots and lots of twisty turny stairs. But up to here, here's our landing pad with our extendable docking station right there. So we'll come around to this button panel and hit either of these 2 buttons. The button up here is to turn it on and off, so we can simply ignore that. We're pressing that top one, that's how I'm going to extend all the way up. There we go. Then once we're happy, press that and pull it all the way back down. Just a nifty thing to have if your vehicle docking up to this doesn't have exactly flat clearance below it. Anyway, just jumping all the way down to here. Here we go once again. Now we've got to come over to this one right here. So we're going to do the exact same thing as we did on the previous tower and make our way all the way down first of all. So down past all of this, we see the sudden flash of our searchlight just looking around. Now we're down onto the bottom section. We've got our shelves, we've got our freight crates, and some more steps come all the way around our lovely refineries. So I suppose what we'll do now is ignore the weird frame rate and just come up these steps. Here we go all the way around. And now we'll do this section right here, which connected us onto the opposite side. Yes, onto this side we can't really do too much, which is walk past everything, which I suppose is perfectly fine. If you want to do some maintenance work, I'll eventually take us over to here, where we can once again hit all the way down the massive hole we just created. What we'll do now is work our way all the way up to the very top of this one. Around once again. Onto this section, we've got another little section with a view into the horizon. And of course 2 more steps will take us all the way up into the exact same area. Up we come. All the way around once again. And now we're on the very tippy top of this thing, where we can see our modules once again. And here's the very top of a basic refinery. But there's our columns with some neon tubes that eventually go up to some blinking interior lights. They each have an exhaust block on top. There's not too much else we can do at the very top here, other than look at what's going on, and of course view if there's any damage on the tower. Of course, one final thing to do is now to come down onto this one once again, and then work our way back up to the final pillar of the outside pillars. And this will take us over to the middle section. So up to here, here's our walkway that goes across to our ladder, that goes all the way up to the very top. But as for the rest of this thing, we've got a time block, and not too much else going on. So just walk over to here, and into this section right here. So dropping down into this first of all, this is how we're going to get onto our platform that we talked about at the very start, which is attached onto our drilling head. So we're going to ignore that, come all the way back up to here, and now we're going to climb up the ladder. We're not going to do it manually, we're just going to jetpack all the way up to the very top here. Here we go. Bounce into all the little platforms, till we eventually get to the very top of this thing. Here we are. Now we can just undo the jetpack. And now, here we are at the very tippy top of our beacon and laser antenna. Walking around here, another time block. And well, not much else other than just looking around and see if there's any enemies approaching. Put the jetpack up onto here and look all the way down. We have quite some height compared to the rest of the vehicle. So what we can do now is just drop all the way down, take a good look at what's going on with our jaws at the bottom. So we come all the way down once again. Putting on my jetpack. And then drop like so. So as we can see, we are still slowly moving all the way down. We have to get out of this. Come all the way down to the bottom here. And there we are. It looks like I have damaged that. So that clang I heard earlier was probably the jaws damaging themselves. Not too sure how that happened unless I accidentally hit the wrong button somewhere. But it looks like we have damaged ourselves and it has stopped extending. So that might be the full extension of the pistons. So to bring the free camera all the way over, bring it all the way down. That's quite some distance. Not as much as some drills, not as much as some modded drills, but it's perfectly suitable for gathering up the deep resources that appear in the vanilla worlds. And should do very well in survival mode. But beans that has stopped, beans that has well broken itself, we now come back up to that platform or back down to that platform and now hit the button to undo the sequence, and we should now retract all the way back up. Perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't. I might need to go back up to the top and rejiggle a few things to make sure it's working properly. And here we go. I have now started to retract the drilling head all the way back up. It's going to take quite some time because it's done in a way to make sure it does as little damage as possible, especially if the vehicle wasn't clamped down, it could be wobbling around. So this is a perfect way to actually handle that. will take quite some time to do. We can see the drill head is still spinning around down there, so it's just collecting up any odd resources that say it didn't collect up on the way down. But while it's doing that, what we're going to do now is undo the magnetic plates. We'll see if it acts odd like it did in my previous attempt at this, which just pings into space. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this works perfectly. That'd be a great way to finish off this video. Here we go. With the free camera once again, I'm just going to angle it like so, and hopefully this is going to work. Press number 2 to undo the magnetic plates. There we go. Pressing number 1 to retract the pistons, and hopefully that has worked correctly, and now we've been disconnected. You're going to grab hold of my character once again. Can I move this? No, I cannot. I need to now turn this into a station. Here we go. And hopefully that's all worked. Yes, it has. We can see we're now wobbling around. I put it into a station to make it a bit more stable while drilling. And we can see we are still dropping out all the resources we have collected. And yes, this is what I meant by having a bit of a problem while drilling, and why it still spins around and drills as it retracts all the way back up. Because as you can see, without being clamped down, it is moving around quite a lot. If we look at it like so, there we go, we can see it just wobbling around. It is fairly stable, it's staying in one location, but that is why the drill speeds up as it is. This does help with a lot of problems. And there we go, it looks like the drill head has now been extended all the way back up. It does have a little bit more to go, but we should be able to drive it around in just a moment. So grabbing hold of my character once again, and here we go. So as you can see, oh, we might have actually damaged the drill a bit more, but it should be perfectly fine. This thing is exceptionally smooth while driving this thing around, and it behaves exactly like any other hovercraft vehicle that I've showcased on this channel, where it feels very odd to drive around because we can go in all directions, but you spin this a full 360 while still maintaining momentum in one direction. And this is just a very easy way, a very novel way of moving this to a location that's all you need. Yes, any second now it should finish going all the way back up. That might be where it needs to go, although it looks like it has got stuck once again. But anyway, it does not matter, because that is pretty much it for this video. I suppose to end this video, what I can do is now run this to destruction by removing the speed limit, and we're just trying to crash it the good old-fashioned way. And here we go, just go on and remove the speed limit, increase the power. We can see a bit of smoke from where I damaged the drill head and it plowed through the back of that little pillar where our docking pad is sitting. We're now at 50 meters per second, and yes, I completely forgot that I had the skybox on that removed the speed limit, so we're going to go well above 100 meters per second, hopefully before it gets destroyed. And well, there goes a tree, we did a little bounce, and that's very odd that a single tree would manage to lift this all the way up. But anyway, once again, charging all the way forwards, now at 30 meters per second, 40, 50, in first person view, this is simply what it looks like. It's not too bad in the first person view, it feels very, very safe. We can see our stopping distance there, we see our acceleration, and we're going to keep going forwards. I believe I just heard something break on the back of the vehicle, hopefully not. We're just going to keep on going. There we are, we now crossed the 110 meters per second limit. We're just going to keep going over into this section. This should be the ending of it. Hopefully I can dodge these trees so it doesn't destroy the speed. And there we go, there was a fair amount of destruction. I was not expecting that to happen. I was expecting the tree just to ping off into the distance. It crippled our speed, but we are still going above 60 meters per second. Looking at the damage dealt, we lost a bunch of blocks below there, a bunch of walkways, and this area should be the ending of this vehicle. So hopefully, here we go, across the bumpy surface. We've got some airtime, and there we go, there is the destruction that I was after. There goes a bunch of the side pillars, but it is still going. It's still in relatively one piece, where you could salvage this for a lot of materials if you wanted to. But yes, as I said, that's that for this video. It's a fantastic mining platform to use in your world if you want to. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with yourself. Highly recommend you do. And there'll be a link to the skybox I'm currently using that removes the speed limit, and of course does affect some of the lighting. It's a very nice skybox if us to scoot away into space with some very nice blues, very nice pinks, very nice purples. That does make it very pretty to look at, especially from moon surfaces or from asteroids which is flying through space. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.